Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my channel? Thank you so much. On my birthday, my girlfriend Lucy gave me a gift, a mandarin duck. She claimed to be away on a business trip, but she was actually on a beach vacation with her first love. I knew then that our 7-year relationship had come to an end. I had once told her if she ever stopped loving me to send me a mandarin duck as a sign to silently leave her life. Despite people praising mandarin ducks as a symbol of eternal love, what no one knows is that mandarin ducks actually choose a new mate every year. Today is my 27th birthday and also our 7-year anniversary. I spent it alone, packed up my belongings, and left no trace of myself in the house, like I was never there. I disappeared from Lucy's world, giving her and her first love a clean slate. But unexpectedly, she went crazy looking for me around the world. I stared at the mandarin duck inside its gift box. Its eyes seemed to look at me with disdain. It's considered a noble bird by many, while I'm just seen as a loser in love by it. Today is my birthday and also the anniversary with Lucy, and now she's on a beach vacation with her first love, Johnny. She called me this morning, claiming she was too busy to return for our special day. But later, a friend showed me pictures of her and Johnny on vacation. The photos were from Johnny's social media. In the pictures, there were clinking glasses, grinning like nothing else mattered. Lucy was in a bikini, way more revealing than anything she'd wear before. The caption said, "After all this time, it's still you. Let me spend a lifetime making up for past mistakes." Lucy was always conservative, usually in business attire. Even with me, she'd be in long sleeves and pants. I once asked her, "Aren't you hot dressed like this in summer?" She'd cuddle up to me, head resting on my shoulder, and say, "I'd rather be hot. Dressing modestly is for you. No one else gets to see." I thought meeting her was a blessing, but now I know when she talked about her man, she meant Johnny. In the past, we were truly in love, but a year ago that all changed when Johnny came back. She used to embrace going without makeup, but after Johnny returned, she leaned into makeup and dressed up more, a company director wearing heavy makeup and stylish skirts to work every day. If I ever asked, she'd be irritated, saying the world's changed and people now emphasize dressing freely. If I couldn't handle it, she'd suggest we break up. It's not the world that changed, it's her. Deep inside, I knew it was all because of Johnny. Back in college, Johnny was with Lucy and me, all top students. We were friends, but I wasn't as stellar academically as they were. In school, they were seen as the perfect match, the regular campus couple. They even planned to study abroad together while I quietly admired Lucy from afar. But when there was only one spot for an overseas study opportunity, Johnny sabotaged Lucy by drugging her before the crucial exam. Lucy couldn't perform well, losing her chance. Johnny left. Lucy, heartbroken, going abroad alone. She came to me afterward, asking if I wanted to be with her, knowing my feelings. I was stunned silent when she kissed me, sealing our relationship. Initially, I thought she was just trying to get back at Johnny. But when she gave me her everything, I realized she meant it. We graduated together from scraping by to living in a big house through hard work. I knew she loved me. Yet Johnny's return shattered my happiness. He formed a company and collaborated with Lucy's. It was an excuse to rekindle their relationship. Every day, he would visit her office, claiming work reasons, showering her with roses and gifts. Lucy thought she was keeping it secret, not knowing half the company was my protégés. Years ago, in her company's early struggles, I stood by her tirelessly. I'd support her during the day, stay up late to keep her company, caring for her until she slept. As her company flourished, she made me vice president, announcing our relationship publicly. Almost 1,000 people at the company knew our story, rising from nothing to success together. But now it all feels like a fleeting dream, one I'm waking up from. Eating my birthday cake alone, tears streamed down, mixing into the frosting. I realized I was crying. After striving together for 7 years, now that we're doing well, I wanted to end this marathon of a relationship in marriage. But the marathon's over without a wedding at the end. Looking at my calloused hands, exhaustion washed over me. These 7 years have been a long, tiring journey. I need a break too. Back in my room, I looked at myself in the mirror. My hair hadn't been cut for 2 months. Even though I tidied it up today, it still looked messy. I was wearing glasses, and my beard had grown long. I wasn't quite on par with Johnny, who dressed sharply every day, suit, leather shoes, and a gold watch on his wrist. But did I have a chance to dress up? For the past 7 years, did I have even 1 second to doll myself up? I carried all the technical duties at Lucy's company on my shoulders. If I hadn't worked around the clock, would there be such a large company now? But none of this matters anymore. I decided to rest. I packed up all my belongings at home and then went to bed early, slept for a full 12 hours. This is the most I've slept and the best I've slept in 7 years. I placed the engagement ring I bought yesterday next to those lovebirds. Then, with my suitcase, I headed to the door. I took one last lingering look at the house. Big villa, but couldn't contain my little 120 pounds. I caught a cab and went to the company. I went straight to the HR manager and told her I wanted to quit. She looked at me in shock, unable to believe my words because I built this company with Lucy and I was also the vice president. A bright future ahead, and crucially, I was Lucy's boyfriend. How could I just quit like that? I smiled at her and said, I'm tired. I need to go back and rest. Since Lucy was the sole shareholder, I didn't have any stock, so she quickly helped me with the paperwork. Everyone at the company was shocked to hear I'm leaving. No one understood why I'd leave when everything was going so well. Only a few colleagues who were close to me knew it was because of Johnny. They were indignant and even threatened to leave with me, but I refused. They were doing well and had families to support. No need to leave with a carefree orphan like me. No matter how they tried to dissuade me, I was determined, and so I left. Before leaving, I tossed my old SIM card and got a new one. I also got a short haircut and swapped my decade-old work attire for a t-shirt and sneakers. Suddenly, I felt a lot more relaxed. I looked like a 27-year-old should. I'm an orphan. I grew up in an orphanage. That's my real home. So, I bought a train ticket and took a ride lasting over 10 hours to the orphanage. The moment the director saw me, she came over and hugged me tightly. Though we had always stayed in touch, and I continued to support the orphanage financially, I was too busy helping Lucy to visit. The last meeting was when I graduated college. The director touched my face with tears in her eyes. Child, you're thinner, not as chubby as you were. I wiped her tears away. She noticed I was alone and asked, Where's Lucy? Before graduating, I had brought Lucy to meet her, so she remembered bringing up Lucy. I sighed deeply and shook my head. The director seemed to understand and didn't ask further. She helped carry my suitcase and led me inside. She introduced me to the kids at the orphanage. Thanks to my support over the years, conditions had improved a lot. At least the kids were getting proper nutrition. There were even 2 chubby ones, something I couldn't imagine in my day when I barely had any flesh on my bones. The kids were really enthusiastic, playing until midnight before sleeping. Standing by the window, looking at the full moon, I realized it was the 15th. In the past, Lucy would stay home with me and make dumplings. She wasn't great at cooking. The dumplings ended up either overcooked or raw. After eating them, she'd have stomach trouble, thinking she was poisoned. Clutching her stomach and holding my hand tightly, she'd wail, I don't want to die so soon. You haven't even married me yet. Let me marry you first. I teased her, comforted her, and gave her some digestive pills. She'd soon bounce back, laughing and saying, Seems my love for you is so strong. The heavens won't let me die. Marry me quick. Back then, I really thought she was my forever, but sadly, 7 years together couldn't compare to her first love who had hurt her. Remembering this brought tears down my face. Suddenly, I felt a soft touch in my hands. I looked down and saw 2 kids, a boy and a girl. The boy asked, Why are you crying? I wiped my tears and forced a smile. Just got something in my eye from the wind. The girl shook her head. You're lying. In the TV shows, when big brothers cry, they say the same thing, but it's really because someone made them sad, right? Did your sister make you sad? I gently patted her head. Watch fewer TV dramas. They aren't real. Cartoons are better. She pouted, I'm 6. I don't watch cartoons anymore. Then she turned to the boy and confidently said, John, don't worry. I'll always protect you. Make sure you never get sad. The boy nodded. I trust you, sister. And I'll always protect you too. Hearing their promises, I squatted down, touched their faces, and said, promises are commitments. Don't break them. Only those who have been hurt know how much it hurts. After putting the kids to bed, I also drifted off. I stayed at the orphanage for a good half month. Spending time with these little kids every day has really boosted my spirit. Feeling refreshed, I decided to go job hunting. After all, I've been supporting this orphanage. Without an income, their quality of life would suffer. I've been through hardships, and I don't want them to endure the same. With my skills, finding a high-paying job should be easy. I tidied up my room and was just about to leave when a little girl pushed the door open. She ran to me and tugged at me. Big brother, there's a big sister looking for you. A big sister? I was a bit confused. Apart from the people from the orphanage, there weren't many who knew me here. The friends I grew up with at the orphanage have mostly moved to other cities. Who would come looking for me? I followed the little girl to the door. A shadowy figure stood outside. My brow furrowed when I saw who it was. What are you doing here? Lucy looked a bit worn out. Her hair seemed like it hadn't been washed in days, and she wasn't wearing any makeup. This was unlike her. She rushed over, grabbed my collar, and shouted, Johnny, you jerk! Why did you disappear without a word? Do you know how long I've been looking for you? I shook her hand off and stepped back. This is an orphanage. Lots of kids around. Please mind yourself. My indifference clearly took her by surprise. After a long pause, her tone softened. I just missed your birthday this year, and you vanished. You couldn't at least break up face to face. I didn't want to explain too much, as she had clearly forgotten what I once said. I looked at her and said, during your last business trip, was there something you needed to tell me? She was visibly taken aback, then frowned. What are you talking about? I shook my head with a sarcastic laugh. At this point, she still needed to hide it from me. I asked Lucy, I've always been curious. How does someone fall in love with two people at the same time? Sure, she loved me at one point, no doubt. But when Johnny came back, her heart went back to him too. Why confine me then? Guilt? Or is her heart really big enough to love two people? My words left her stunned. What do you mean? Seeing her feigned ignorance, I didn't want to say more. You should leave. I took the little girl's hand, turned around, and closed the door. Outside, Lucy kept knocking. Johnny, come out. Worried she'd scare the kids, I called them indoors. The head of the orphanage soon came by, asking what happened. I shook my head and just told her to ignore Lucy. Lucy could love two people, but I couldn't be one of them. I left through the back door, caught a cab, and headed to my interview. In my field, I'm somewhat reputable, and the company interviewing me was just a small one with a few dozen people. The boss personally interviewed me. He didn't ask much about my technical skills, just why I left my previous job without another lined up. I thought for a moment and said, because my home is in this city. The orphanage is home. After a brief chat, the boss offered me a job right away as technical director starting tomorrow, basically just below him. After leaving the company, I picked up some milk for the kids and headed back. When I returned, the kids said the big sister was still at the gate, hours later, and hadn't left. I was a bit exasperated. I've already stepped aside for Johnny. What else does she want from me? I ignored her, drew the curtains, and handed out the milk to the kids. At night, it started pouring rain with thunder. The head of the orphanage came into my room, sighed, and said, Johnny, you should go check. She hasn't left, still at the door, and it's pouring now. I sighed, got up, grabbed an umbrella, and walked to the courtyard. Opening the door, Lucy's face lit up slightly when she saw me. I handed her the umbrella. Hurry and go home. There's a storm tonight. Lucy didn't take the umbrella, just shook her head. I'm not leaving unless you come back with me. Without a shred of hesitation, I said, I'm not going back. I've interviewed at a new company starting tomorrow. Lucy's body trembled a bit as she looked at me. Why? I looked at her, sighed slightly, and said, remember what I once told you? If you stop loving me, give me a Mandarin duck figurine, and I'll understand and not bother you again. Mandarin duck. Lucy furrowed her brow tightly. Seeing her like this, I continued, I've given Johnny the space he needed, cleared my position at the company. From now on, don't come trouble me anymore. Hearing this, Lucy's face changed. You suspect me and Johnny? she asked. I chuckled. Is there any need for suspicion? Don't you have a clue? Tears streamed down her face. I've loved you for so long, and yet you don't even have basic trust in me. We've reached this point. What's there to pretend? My temper flared. I pulled out my phone and showed her all the pictures her secretary once sent me, from the gift Johnny gave her to the last time they had a toast together. What trust do I need to have? How many chances have I given you? Did you ever tell me? Lucy's head dropped, speechless. I calmed myself and continued. Thank you for being with me for 7 years. I've repaid you with a company that size, so we're even. Go home. Saying that, I handed her the umbrella and turned back into the courtyard. The next morning, when I got up, I looked out the window. I didn't see her. Finally, she left. Since she's gone, it's time for me to start my new life, go to work, and support the orphanage that raised me, carrying such a heavy burden on my shoulders. This new company isn't big, but everyone's got skills, and the work environment is great. With me joining, it's like a fish getting water. In just a month, I've made noticeable changes to the company. After all, in an internet company, tech is the critical factor. I was dealing with some new tech issues when I overheard 2 execs talking. Did you hear? Lucy's company suddenly announced its delisting. You don't know? Lucy and Johnny's companies ended their partnership. Apparently, the 2 bosses had a huge fallout at a party. Lucy slapped Johnny a few times and revealed some dirt on him, causing an investigation that shut them down. Why did Lucy's company delist? I'm not sure. I heard there were serious internal conflicts. Listening to them, my fingers paused on the keyboard. Johnny and Lucy rekindled things, so how did they fall out? I shook my head, unable to make sense of it. None of this concerns me anymore. I worked until evening, clocked out, and left. I planned to buy some clothes for the kids at the orphanage. Fall's coming, and it's getting chilly. Just as I reached the mall entrance, a shadow blocked my way. It was Lucy. Her hair was a mess, clothes rumpled, and her spirit seemed completely off. Even though we were no longer together, I couldn't help but ask, "What happened to you?" Lucy forced a weak smile. Her stomach growled. Looking at her now compared to a month ago, it's night and day. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel a pang in my heart. She was the woman I loved for 7 years. I offered, "Let me get you something to eat." She shook her head. "No need. I just wanted to see you." See me? What's there to see in me? Looks-wise, I'm not even half of Johnny in a crowd. I'm the kind of guy you forget after one glance. Just then, through the crowd, someone wielding a knife rushed at us. Johnny, following this woman. "I finally found you." Close. "I saw it, Johnny. Watch out." Before I could react, Lucy shouted and pushed me aside. Johnny stabbed her in the abdomen. Blood poured from her. Lucy was in shock. I kicked Johnny down and caught Lucy as she fell. Mall security swarmed and restrained Johnny. Johnny yelled, "You bastard. If it weren't for you, my company wouldn't have been shut down. I finally got rid of you, but this woman still pines for you. Ditching someone like me for you, a useless orphan. I'll kill you." My heart shook. I quickly called an ambulance, looking down at Lucy in my arms, barely conscious. I said, "Lucy, hold on. Help's on the way." With blood-stained hands, she touched my face, forcing a smile. "Johnny, having you here with me, I'm satisfied. I want you to know I never betrayed you. Johnny and I were never what you thought. That business trip," she continued, "I never went to the beach. I really was on a trip. If you don't believe me, ask the partner company. As for that photo," tears welled up in her eyes. "You fool tech guy. Couldn't you tell it was photoshopped?" My mind exploded like thunder. She pulled out her phone and showed me the photo. "Johnny, look. Does the woman in this have a burn scar on her hand? 3 years ago, because I smoked, I accidentally burned Lucy with a cigarette. It was bad enough to leave a scar, and I felt so guilty I quit smoking for good. This photo showed a woman's hand untouched, no sign of scarring, and there was a seam on the neck area. I wanted to smack myself. Lucy's head had clearly been photoshopped on. Lucy stared at my reddening eyes and continued, "Johnny, my love for you never changed." When Johnny returned to work with us, his company had many overseas projects. I wanted us to go far together, see the world, but I overlooked your feelings. Little did I know, Johnny was so shameless. My secretary had been bribed by him. I never received gifts from Johnny except once, which I refused in front of him. After that, he never gave me anything again. But I feared you'd overthink, so I didn't tell you. The stuff my secretary fed you is all lies, deliberately misleading. And those lovebirds you got weren't from me. I was planning a proposal ring for you. I was so busy I forgot to mail it. She shakily pulled out a pair of rings from her pocket. After you left, Johnny approached me wanting to be together. Then I realized why you left without a word. Johnny was playing us against each other. I'm no fool. I wouldn't leave a man who loves me deeply for the one who hurt me, never. With her last words, Lucy grew weaker as the blood poured more freely. I clutched her hand, tears streaming. Lucy stopped talking. I'm sorry, I was wrong. If I trusted you more, none of this would have happened. Lucy wiped my tears away. Silly, you're the man I love most. I'd never blame you. Now, the misunderstanding's cleared. I can rest in peace. Her voice faded, and the hand with the rings lowered slowly. No, I screamed. Lucy, don't sleep. Stay awake. Is there a doctor? Any doctor? As I was shouting, the ambulance slowly arrived. Outside the hospital emergency room, I paced back and forth anxiously, holding the wedding ring Lucy bought. At that moment, I hated myself deeply, hated how careless I had been. If only I trusted her a bit more, none of this would have happened. Suddenly, the door to the operating room opened. I rushed over and grabbed the doctor. Doctor, how's my girlfriend? The doctor glanced at me and sighed. My heart sank. Could it be? The doctor said, we managed to save her life. But that stab hearing the first part, I was overwhelmed with relief and joy. Without waiting for him to finish, I rushed into the operating room. I got Lucy the best hospital room and stayed by her side for 3 days and nights. I leaned on the bed, watching her face gradually regain color, and smiled. She should wake up soon. As I watched, I dozed off. In my sleep, I heard crying. Startled, I woke up. I saw Lucy crying, tears rolling down her cheeks. I quickly grabbed her hand. Lucy looked at me, sobbing, Johnny, I can't have children anymore. I nodded and gently stroked her face, wiping away her tears. I know, she continued crying. I can't have children. I'm afraid you won't want me. What good am I without children? Watching her cry, I comforted her. It's just that you can't have kids. Why does that matter? Does it affect my love for you? Your love for me? She asked. Besides, there's so many kids in orphanages. Who says we can't have kids? Saying this, I took out the wedding ring, got down on one knee, and smiled at Lucy. I want to end our 7-year love journey and step into marriage together. Lucy, will you marry me? Lucy cried, then started laughing. Yes,